I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. And don't you forget it! What are we talking about today? We're talking about The Saxon Tales by Bernard Cornwell. I got the whole series here, folks. 13 books. Starting with The Last Kingdom. Maybe you guys have been watching The Last Kingdom on TV. It's a great show about Vikings based off of The Saxon Tales by Bernard Cornwell. I got all 13 books right here. And I'm telling you, man, there's some awesome books here. Awesome books. The 13th one just came out this week. Warlord. Warlord, folks. The end of the series. It's going to wrap up the series. It's going to tie up the series that was begun with The Last Kingdom. The Last Kingdom, all the way to Warlord. Last Kingdom, 13 books later, Warlord. Series is over. Series is over. It's done. It's wrapped up. He finished it up, and let me tell you something. What a grand series it was. What a great series. I love this series. We start out with Uhtred, son of Uhtred, who's also the son of Uhtred, who was also the son of Uhtred. Growing up in northeast England, in a town and castle called Bebbanburg. I've been to Bebbanburg. It's actually now called Bamberg Castle. And what a spectacular, picturesque castle this thing is. I mean, this is just, you just Google Bamberg Castle and you'll be like, whoa, I gotta go see that. It's right on the northeastern seacoast of Northumbria, which is the northeast part of England, right below the Scottish border. Oh, just a beautiful, bleak place with this magnificent castle sitting up on a rock right there on the seashore. I took so many photos of that place. It's crazy. Part of the reason I went and visited there is because of The Saxon Tales by Bernard, because that's where Uhtred was born. Uhtred is from Bebbanburg. He's from Bamberg Castle. This book starts out, this is a general overview of the series. Very general, no spoilers. I'm just going to try to get you jazzed about reading these books. I will eventually do a book review for each individual book in the series as I reread them. I have been reading them as they've come out every year for the past 13 years. I've been reading them, so I've read them all once, but I do at some point want to read them again. And when I read them the second time, I will, up on my channel, leave a detailed review of each book. But for now, let's just do a general overview. Uhtred, son of Uhtred, son of Uhtred, who's also the son of Uhtred. He is living in Bamberg Castle, or an older, much more ancient Viking age version of Bamberg Castle. If you do Google Bamberg Castle, that's not the way the castle looked in Uhtred's time in the Viking age. It was much more smaller, probably made much more out of wood rather than stone. Viking stuff. Technology, even with the castles, the technology over time, just got better. Uhtred didn't live in the good version of Bamberg Castle. He lived in kind of the crappy Viking version of Bamberg Castle. That being said, that's where his home was. In come the Vikings, in come the bad people. And they sack the village, they sack the castle, they kill his family, and they kidnap him. And off on our adventure we go for 13 books long, where Uhtred goes and fights for the Vikings, he fights for the English, he fights for everybody. He's in a lot of adventures, he meets a lot of famous people and kings and queens, gets into a lot of tussles and wars, sword fights, this, that, and the other, for a total of 13 books. And all the time, he just wants to reclaim his homeland of Bebbanburg/Bamberg. And, on the later books, we kind of get back into that general area of northeast England, and he's starting to reclaim his old lands. And in Warlord, I won't tell you whether he succeeds or not. You got to read the whole 13-book series yourself. And you should, because Bernard Cornwell's writing is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's one of those, he's one of those guys that can write pretty sparse sentences. He's not overly flowery or descriptive, but yet the short sentences and the short paragraphs have enough prose in them and great descriptive words in them that you are thrust right into medieval Viking Age England on every page. I mean, it's just oozing and dripping with all of the right flavors, all of the right smells, all of the right sights, all of the right language, all of the right terminology. The guy is a historian. He researches his stuff. In fact, in the back of every single novel, because this is a true story, actually, folks. Probably should have said that up at the front. Now, 95% of the viewers have just ditched, and they didn't get to hear that part. This is actually kind of a true story. And all of the books have a historical note in the back of it telling you the history of what we just read about and how true it was and how things actually were back then. And so it's really cool. It's really cool. The Saxon Tales. Bernard Cornwell's crowning achievement. A lot of people think his crowning achievement were his Warlord Chronicles about King Arthur. Other people think his crowning achievement were his Sharp's Rifles series of 21 novels about the Napoleonic Wars. Other people think his crowning achievement is the Saxon Tales. And yet other people think that it's the Archer Tales. I mean, he's got so many great series that it's hard to pin down where his legacy will lie, other than he was just probably one of the world's most prolific historical novelists ever. And his writing was great, and you can't go wrong by picking up any of those series or any of those books. Overall, I'm going to give the entire series an absolute 9.5, a solid 9.5 for the whole series. And as I read through the books one at a time at a later date, some of them are going to be 10s, some of them are going to be a little lower than that. But we'll get to that when we get to it. But for now, the Saxon Tales, they're done. Bernard Cornwell has finished his series. So if you want to launch into a series that's completely done, that's like 13 books long, this is the one for you. This is it. The Saxon Tales. If you love fantasy, if you love George R.R. Martin, if you love Robert Jordan, if you love anything about the Middle Ages, if you love Ken Follett, Con Iggulden, I could go on and on. John Jakes. I could keep going. But we'll stop right there. The Saxon Tales finished. You can actually watch them on TV. They've made the TV show is called The Last Kingdom. It's a good TV show too.